we are going to revise the chemistry assignment which I sent to you. The first question, what is chemistry? Just have your pen and you are going to mark what you answered in your paper or in your book. Chemistry is the study of composition, properties, structure, and changes that matter undergo. Question 2, give 3 advantages of studying chemistry. The first advantage of studying chemistry is that it helps us to pursue a career so that we may be professionals in the society. Number 2, it helps us to solve problems that are in the society, especially the environmental problems such as pollution. Question number 3, give the functions of the following laboratory apparatus. The first one is crucible. Crucible is used for strong heating. Number 2 is desiccator. Desiccator is used to keep substances free from moisture. Number 3 is dropping funnel. Dropping funnel is used to deliver liquids into vessels dropwise. Used to deliver liquids into vessels dropwise. Next is test funnel. This funnel is also used to deliver liquid into vessel. So long as you said this funnel is used to deliver liquids into vessel, that is correct. And I can add something about dropping funnel. You can say it is used to deliver controlled amount of liquid into vessels. Then we have got tongs. Tongs is used to hold corrosive solids or solids which are poisonous, so that you might not hold them with bare hands. Question 4, define the following terms. 1 is drug. A drug is any substance other than food that when taken alters the body function. Number 2 is drug abuse. Drug abuse is use of drug for the purpose other than what it's meant for. Then we have got prescription. Prescription is the way or the method you are supposed to use the drug, and it should be applied by the medical officer. Then we have got indicator. Indicator is a substance that is used to show whether another substance is either an acid or a base. So we are on to question number 5. Give the differences between luminous flame and non-luminous flame. So we are going to draw a table here to show the differences between luminous. So we put luminous this side, luminous, then this other side, non-luminous. So the first difference is that luminous has 4 zones. Non-luminous has 3 zones. Second difference is that luminous produces smoke or soot. Another name for smoke is soot. Then non-luminous does not produce smoke. Or soot. The next difference is that luminous is used for lighting. Non-luminous is used for heating. There are other differences. Another one is luminous is produced when air hole is closed. This one is non-luminous produced when air hole is open. There's another difference. Luminous flame is large and wavy. Non-luminous is short and sturdy. and steady, not study but steady. Steady means it is straight, short and steady. And we are on to the next question. After use, an luminous flame should be put off or adjusted to a luminous flame. So that is 2 marks. After use, an luminous should be put off or adjusted to a luminous flame because there are 2 reasons. One, to avoid wastage of the gas. Another reason is to avoid accidents, since an luminous flame is invisible. To avoid accident, since an luminous flame is visible. And then I also say the first one is to avoid wastage of the gas. The next question is part B. State any 6 safety rules in the laboratory. 6 safety rules in the laboratory. So I'm going to state them here one by one. Safety rules in the laboratory. You know a lab very well, and most of the experiments we did them in the lab. So the first safety rule is that doors and windows should remain open while carrying out the experiment in the lab. Doors and windows should remain open. Then number 2 is that you should work in a clean bench. You should work on a clean bench. Bench just means the table which you are using to do the experiment. Then number 3 is label all chemicals to avoid confusion. Label all chemicals to avoid confusion. Number 4 is that you should not try any experiment without authority of the teacher. Should not try any experiment without authority of the teacher to avoid accident. So you must know a reason for every rule. Every rule, like the first one, doors and windows should remain open to allow in fresh air. Then number 5, because we are asked 6, there are 6 rules. Number 5 is that you should not leave the laboratory without washing your hands. Should not leave the laboratory without washing your hands to avoid poisoning. Because maybe you are eating without washing your hands. You just left the laboratory and you've just picked something to eat, and you need to wash your hands after the experiment, and you can easily poison yourself. So those are 5 rules which I've mentioned. I went to the 6th rule. There are so many rules, but I'll just mention at least 6. Rule number 6 is that in case of a fire accident, you should walk calmly out. Number 6, in case of fire accident, you should walk out calmly without running, because if you run, you might fall down and you might also cause commotion. Then there are other laboratory rules, like in any case you are doing experiment, the vessel which you are using, you should not make it to face the other person, because when you make your vessel face the other person, the gases which are being produced, they can poison the other person doing the experiment. Then when you are smelling into a vessel, you want to know the smell of a gas, you should not smell directly. That's another rule. You should instead waft. So I've mentioned around 8 rules. So just check the rule that you've stated correctly and mark yourself. We go to the next question, number 7. Name 3 substances that undergo sublimation. Name 3 substances that undergo sublimation. Number 1 is called iron 3 chloride. Iron 3 chloride. Number 2 is called aluminium 3 chloride. Then number 3 is called dry ice, also known as solid carbon 4 oxide. We also have ammonium chloride. These are substances which undergo sublimation. You can mention any of them. There's also another one which we are forgetting called benzoic acid. Benzoic acid is a solid. We are going to the next question. Number 8. Give the methods that can be used to separate the following mixtures. Number 1. Iron filings and sulfur. The answer is by use of a magnet, because iron is a magnetic material, so it will be attracted. The next is sodium chloride and aluminium chloride. As you can see, aluminium chloride is able to sublime, so you will say by sublimation. By sublimation. And the next is common salt and water. That one will use evaporation, since common salt is soluble in water, and then you will evaporate the water out as moisture. So we have answered question 8. The first one is by use of a magnet. Second one is sublimation. And the third one is evaporation. We are in question 9. What is fractional distillation? Fractional distillation is the process by which miscible liquids are separated by their difference in boiling points, and the difference in boiling point should be less than 40 degrees centigrade. It is the process by which miscible liquids are separated by using the difference in their boiling points, and the difference should be less than 40 degrees centigrade. That one is the answer for that. Number B, give 2 applications of fractional distillation. Fractional distillation is used to obtain oxygen from air. That is fractional distillation of liquefied air. We get oxygen by doing fractional distillation of liquefied air. Another one is fractional distillation of crude oil to get the fractions. Fractional distillation of crude oil to get the fractions. Then the third one, because you are asked, you're asked 2, but you can say 3, is fractional distillation of used oil. You can use oil like the oil that has been used by purposes like in the vehicle. Then you again do the fractional distillation to separate the components. Then we have got the next question. The diagram below shows a chromatogram obtained when spots of pigments X, Y, and a mixture of Z were placed on an absorbent material. The diagram below shows a chromatogram obtained when spots of pigments X, Y, and a mixture of Z were placed on an absorbent material and allowed to dry. The paper was then dipped in a solvent and obtained as shown below. So we have got this diagram here. I hope you can zoom it so that we are able to see it. So this is the diagram. Name A and B. As you can see where A is, and this is where B is. So A is called solvent front. Solvent front. B is called baseline. Baseline. Which pure pigment was a component of Z? So which pure pigment was a component of Z? So as you can see this diagram here, the one that is a component of Z must be in line. You can use a ruler. Ruler is very important when you are answering this question. So you can see this spot and this spot are in line. So this spot here, it is a component of X. So which pure pigment was a component of Z? It is X, because this spot coming from X is in line with the spot coming from Z. If you check the one for Y, the spot coming from Y is not in line with the one coming from Z. So it means Y is not. So the answer is X. So if you are asked to give a reason why, it's because a spot from X is in line with that of Z, or because they contain the same component. Part C. What are the factors that determine the distance moved by the spots? What are the factors that determine the distance moved by the spots? One is solubility. Number two is adsorption rate. Check the spelling of adsorption. Adsorption rate. Not absorption. It is adsorption rate. That's the spelling. The first one I said is solubility. Next question. Why is water not used as a solvent? Water is not used as a solvent. There are two reasons. Number one is because water may destroy the adsorbent material. Then number two is water does not dissolve most organic components. Water does not dissolve most organic components. The next question. Give the names of the compounds formed by the following elements. Check the elements there. Give the names of the compounds formed by the following elements. Carbon and oxygen. There are two compounds. The first one is called carbon for oxide. The other one is called carbon 2 oxide. So any, you can write carbon 4 oxide. That is when carbon reacts with excess oxygen. Then carbon 2 oxide when carbon reacts with less oxygen or limited oxygen. Sodium and sulfur. The first one is, there's only one compound formed when sodium reacts with sulfur. It's called sodium sulfide. Sodium sulfide. Sodium sulfide is formed when sodium reacts with sulfur. Then we have got sodium, carbon, and oxygen. Sodium, carbon, and oxygen form sodium carbonate. Sodium carbonate because carbonate contains carbon and oxygen. So sodium carbonate. The formulas we learn how to write formulas of chemical, formulas of most compounds. Next, complete the following word equations. Sodium carbonate plus dilute sulfuric acid. Word equations. We learn so many word equations, and now I hope you have a lot of knowledge about word equations. So we are going to write it here so that you are able to observe. Sodium, you must write it very good handwriting. Sodium carbonate plus dilute sulfuric acid. Some people call sulfuric acid sulfuric 6 acid, but even if you say sulfuric acid, no problem. So this one is a carbonate plus acid. It forms, so I'm going to write the compounds that are formed down here. So it forms sodium sulfate plus water plus carbon 4 oxide. Sodium plus dilute sulfuric acid, then arrow. Don't write equal sign here, write arrow. Sodium sulfate plus water plus carbon 4 oxide. Next is sodium plus water. Sodium plus water forms sodium hydroxide plus hydrogen gas. sodium plus water forms sodium hydroxide plus hydrogen. And we learned that there are some observations that are made when sodium is placed in water. One is hissing sound because of the hydrogen. Another one, it darts on the surface due to propulsion by the hydrogen. And then it melts into a silvery ball. Those observations you must be able to understand. And we did this experiment in the lab. The next one is sodium hydrogen carbonate and dilute hydrochloric acid. Sodium hydrogen carbonate plus dilute hydrochloric acid. It forms sodium chloride. This sodium chloride comes from sodium and the chlorine that is part of hydrochloric acid plus carbon 4 oxide plus water. So there are three products that are formed here. Both sodium hydrogen carbonate and sodium carbonate, they form similar products. Even this one, sodium sulfate, it is a salt, so it's also sodium chloride. Carbon 4 oxide and water is now common for both of them. We are about to finish. The next is magnesium plus dilute hydrochloric acid. Magnesium plus dilute hydrochloric acid. It forms magnesium chloride plus hydrogen gas. So magnesium is a metal plus an acid formed salt and hydrogen gas. So you must know how to write all those word equations. Now when we reach form 2, we are now going to write chemical equations. Form 1, we are only tackling word equations. We will write chemical equation using chemical symbols. Thank you. Number 13, give two differences between acids and bases. Give two differences between acids and bases. Number 1, the first difference between acids and bases is that acids have sour taste. Let me just write a table. Acids, bases. Acids have sour taste. Bases have bitter taste. Next difference is that acids turn red litmus paper red. It enables blue litmus paper to be red. Changes blue litmus paper red. Then bases changes red litmus paper to blue. Acids changes blue litmus paper to red. Bases changes red litmus paper to blue. That is a difference. You can also use phenolphthalein acids. When you place phenolphthalein into an acid, it will become colorless. And then when you place phenolphthalein into a base, it will become pink. So there are so many differences. Next, give two uses of bases. So you will be specific when you are saying the uses. Number 14. The first, you can talk about sodium hydroxide. So you will say sodium hydroxide is used to manufacture soap. Then you can also say ammonium hydroxide. Ammonium hydroxide is used for water softening. So you can say water softening or water treatment. Hard water, when you place ammonium hydroxide, it is being softened or it is being treated. So there are other uses of different bases that you can talk about, like calcium hydroxide. It can be used as antiacid. Even magnesium hydroxide is also used as antiacid. Antiacid is just used to treat when you have some stomach ache, used to lower the acidity of the stomach. Next, give with the help of a word equation, identify the products of heating candle wax. Very important question. With the help of a word equation, identify the products of heating candle wax. And candle wax is hydrocarbon. Hydrocarbon, when you heat, it will form carbon dioxide plus water. So you must say hydrocarbon plus oxygen, because oxygen is the one that supports conversion. So hydrocarbon plus oxygen form carbon dioxide plus water. Next question. Give 2 uses of hydrogen gas. Uses, you can talk about as many uses as possible. So the first use of hydrocarbon is mixed with oxygen and used for welding. When mixed with oxygen, it is used for welding. Another one is used for large-scale manufacture of ammonia, known as Haber process. Number 3 is used for large-scale manufacture of hydrochloric acid. There are so many uses. It's used in fuel cell and is also used as a rocket fuel. So that is the end of our lesson today. May God bless you. And I want to congratulate you for the good performance that you had in the end term. Remember, our target for next term, we want around 30 airplane and more than 10 points in our chemistry. Otherwise, may God bless you.